So I just was about to draw patient blood. So he was like, "You about to stick me?" I said, "Yeah, I'm about to draw your blood." I'm like, you want your blood ran? You want to get your testing?" He was like, "What you testing me for?" I said, "Well, you got to get tested for hepatitis C, HIV, your CMP, your A1C, your normal routine checkup." He looked at me and said, "I'm good," and ran out of here. I'm trying to see why men are so petrified of the doctor. Like, why they be scared? Make it make sense.
You know why they scared. You know why they scared. Now, I am a huge advocate as a person that goes to the doctor at least twice a year. And then obviously, you guys know, when I was talking about it on the Millionaire Morning Show, that I have a concierge doctor, and then I also had another doctor from the insurance company come in and do all of my blood work, do urine, EKGs, all of that stuff, because I upped my insurance policy, my life insurance policy, significantly into the 8 digits. So as a result, they have to come in and then they give you all of the tests. And then I actually showed my stuff online just because I wanted to encourage people and I wanted to push people and I wanted to encourage men in particular that we need to go to the doctor, not just because of insurance purposes or anything like that, but because, a lot of guys catch stuff and they die from early not missing stuff, early detection. And there's a lot of ways in which you can, still live or adjust or solve for or change whatever it is that you've discovered. But if you got to catch it early, especially cancer, as a 43-year-old man, I recently did the other one. Y'all know what the other test is to make sure. But everything is absolutely awesome and clean. And as a matter of fact, she was mentioning something about A1C. You need to know what your long-term blood sugar is so that you can make adjustments if you are pre-diabetic or diabetic and all of that stuff so that you can live a long, beautiful, fruitful life. But I also suspect, and I've been having this conversation, especially last night on After Hours, and then also on a video that I did yesterday, that guys do not, and this is straight up, I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. I don't sugarcoat anything. There are a lot of guys, not all, that don't want to know what their status is when it comes to certain diseases because they don't want to know and they don't want to be responsible for telling people that they are going to pass that disease on to, that they have it, because they will then become liable. It's almost like if I don't know, I just don't understand. It don't matter. I don't know what I don't know don't hurt me. And that's bad. That's horrible. And it's irresponsible and it doesn't make sense. And we have to do better. First of all, we got to do better when it comes to the discipline that we need in order to make sure that we are responsible adults. Secondly, can't just be out here giving away monsters. You can't be giving people the monster, and that's not right. It's not fair to other people. And then lastly, y'all have to, and this is not singular to just men, but this is what we're talking about right now. And so we're not going to pass the buck. When we talk about women, we talk about women. When we talk about men, we talk about men. We're not going to keep going back and forth. However, people that sleep with other people, you have to be very, very careful. And this is one of the reasons why I say you need to get married before you carry. You need to get married before you busting it down for a real one. It's so much easier. It's so much cleaner. It's so much nicer. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not even about all this other superficial stuff at this point. It's just about being safe and feeling comfortable and just chilling, just having a good time without having to worry about all of this other nonsense. And what I'm telling you is that there's also a lot of people that's catching that monster from people that are promiscuous because they either in a situationship, they haven't put any barriers or parameters on what it is that they're supposed to do. They keep looking for the wrong people that's sleeping with everybody else, and everybody is passing it to everybody, and nobody wants to be responsible for what they doing to another person. And that's sad. That's why I just stay out of the mix, bro.
So I had a patient come in and she was having some vaginal discharge, just some vaginal discomfort, and wanted some testing. So when I saw her, I was okay, we're going to do some testing today. I can test for STIs like chlamydia, gonorrhea, trichomonas. I can test for just vaginal infections that are very common like yeast, bacteria. Her partner thought, he's like, hold on, doc. Now, first of all, I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm not a physician. Hold on, doc. I said, you can just call me Monica. I'm one of the NPs here. He's like, we don't need STI testing. All my stuff is clean.
What if her stuff not clean? What if she's been cheating? Oh, red flag, red flag, red flag on the play. Yo, go to the doctor alone. Whether you a man or you a woman, go to the doctor alone. Do not go to the doctor and getting your blood work and your test. When I go to the doctor, that's a conversation between me and my doctor. That ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
While that might be, I said, well, I understand that. I said, but since she's having discharge and it's, usually when you come in, I like to just test for everything because you never know. And it's just like, why waste your time coming here if you're not going to get all the tests? He was like, well, she don't need it. She don't need it. Now, mind you, the patient didn't say that. So I did the swab. Now, I chose, because listen, I'm not new to this. I am not new to this. And as Karen Huger from Real Housewives of Potomac says, I'm a quick study of the room. And I could see the vibe. And I was like, oh yeah, you need the testing. So what I did was I chose the swab where you can test for everything. And it's just a change of a code in the computer. Or I could test for just some things, which again, is just a change of the code in the computer. But at least if I collected the swab where you have a lot of options, the patient would have options if she changes her mind. So when I got down there, the vaginal discharge was infectious in nature. It was copious, which means there was a lot of it. It was kind of like milky, whitish, yellow. It just was a lot of infectious discharge. And I said, okay, it does look like you have an infection. It's probably some kind of bacterial infection. Would you like me to go ahead and just run the swab for everything since you're here? And the patient was like, yeah, absolutely. I think I should just do everything. She was also having some urinary symptoms, so we did a urine too. The partner, once again, was like, listen, I already told you we don't need STI testing. And I said, I understand that, but it's up to the patient. And your partner has told me, my patient, I said, she says she wants everything, so let's just go ahead and do everything. All right, you wasted your time. So he said, all right, but listen, again, I'm a quick study of the room. I could already see his discomfort. And I'm like, the test is going to be abnormal. Like, it's going to be abnormal. One, I'm looking at the infectious discharge. So I know for a fact we have an infection here. What kind? I can't tell you 100%, but I knew it was going to at least be BV, plus or minus chlamydia or trichomonas. Lo and behold.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know what all of these acronyms are, to be honest with you, but it's crazy.
Test came back, positive for chlamydia, positive for bacterial vaginosis, and her prelim urine culture came back with over 100,000 gram negative ROS, which is usually E. coli, which is the most common type of UTI. So she had UTI, chlamydia, and BV. Messing with a partner, she said they're completely monogamous and they've been together over a year, who said that they did not need testing. And the reason I'm telling this story is because I want to make sure that anyone who hears this video, and please send this to the young ladies, it is your body and it is your healthcare visit. And if you bring someone, they should be an advocate for you. They should be someone who wants you to get, the whole $1 million workup. They want you to get all the tests, all the things. They want you to feel comfortable. They're there to hold your hand. They're there so that you have an extra pair of ears, so that when the doctor or nurse practitioner or physician assistant or nurse says things to you, that you don't forget. The person you bring to your visit is supposed to be a person who got your back. If you're bringing someone who's telling you not to get stuff because it's in their own self-interest, because they're outside, And like I said, I already saw it from a mile away. And I'm saying this because if you know that your partner is controlling that way, don't bring them to your healthcare visit. Don't bring them. Or all you have to do is give the nurse that you're working with, or give the nurse practitioner or doctor the eye, and we will politely ask that person to go wait in the waiting room. I do it all the time. I say, you know what? If we're not talking about pregnancy today, do you want to just wait for her in the waiting room? We'll be quick. This is just a girl's visit. So just consider those things, because if you're going to the doctors, you should be able to be candid, transparent, get your full testing, not feel judged, not feel nervous. And
yeah, I agree 100% on this one. And this isn't a woman versus man thing. This is a human being healthcare thing. And when you start talking about the thing that can affect your healthcare, your ability to be able to have kids, your long-term prospects of dying early and stuff like that, you got to be a little bit more vigilant. And so I'm not going to take a side in any of these situations. My side is on doing stuff the right way. And more importantly, A, y'all need to vet the person that y'all with. B, a lot of times women know they with a nigga that's for the streets. C, it's also the responsibility of you as a person, as a man, to make sure that you strapping up. D, ladies, make sure your man strap up. E, get married. Just get married and stay out the streets and don't find yourself in this situation. I love you. I appreciate you. Be careful, y'all.